corral the younger guys together, when you guys are kind of trailing in games and being able to come back? Who are some guys really, have the other players kind of lock down and lock in when things are going not so bad, not so great?
Baker, Gotchow, Raekwon, Jamal Wiltz, Eric Rowe. I think all those guys. I think this is a team that feels like we can battle back and get ourselves back in games when we're down. I'd like for us to not play that way and try to play a little bit better earlier in games. It's something we talked about a lot, among other things. So, but I think we've got a lot of guys that have belief in each other and we all know there's no quit. We're going to keep competing, and if you do that, things turn in games, and you need that belief in order to get back in games and to start games as well.
Sam McGuavin done this season, especially relative to his transition from CFL to NFL?
I think he's made a lot of improvement, since the day he got here, and really since we started spending time with him. This is a guy who works extremely hard. Football's important to him. He studies. His preparation is very good in all areas, defensively and special teams. Whatever role we ask him to perform in, he learns it quickly and tries and does it to the best of his ability. And we've asked him to do a lot of things in the kicking game and defensively, in different groupings and different positions. So I think he's made a nice adjustment, and I still think there's a lot more room to grow and develop. We're going to use these last few weeks of the season to do that, and then hopefully that gives us a good start to what's next to come.
What has he done in areas of physicality, run stopping and things like that, tackling, things like that?
He's a physical guy. I think he plays downhill and is not afraid of contact. And when we ask him to set the edge, he's been able to do that. So I think he's a tough physical guy, and hopefully we can continue to see more of that from him throughout this week in particular, and then the rest of the year.
John Jenkins bring to your defensive line, what would be his most underrated asset?
Leadership, I would say. I think that is underrated. He's the veteran guy in the room, and he's been on some good teams, around some good players, and he brings that experience and that leadership to the room. And he's a good player too. Really good. Does a really good job with fundamentals, technique. Specifically on first and second down. It's a hard guy to move, and I think he's played really solid football for us.
How does the run game philosophy change, if at all, now that you've gone from Drake and Balaj down, and now you're with Patrick Laird? How do things change?
I think it really changes, much. We want to run the ball efficiently. That's always, at the forefront. And we want to move the ball efficiently in the run game, in the pass game, in the screen game, in the play action game, but specific to the run game. Nothing really changes, I would say. We'll mix the scheme runs with the zone runs with the various runs we have, and at the end of the day, it comes down to execution. So I have confidence in all our backs. We wouldn't change what we would do for. I don't think we have to change what we would do for Miles or Patrick or Zenner or Delance. So we just have to execute better than we have.
Ryan, with you've added 4 players in the last couple of days.
Yeah.
Would you and Chris and Brandon just want to get a look at as many players as you can over the last month in practice settings to see if maybe you have something there? And of the 4, anyone that you remember in particular that you had seen in the scouting, pre-draft process or in games that stood out to you?
Well, all these guys. Obviously, you guys know I have background in scouting, so I watch a lot of I watch everybody. So. The guys we brought in, I watched them all, and we feel good about them. And Mac Hollins, for instance, he's tough, physical, wide receiver, plays in the kicking game. He's had some production offensively in the kicking game. We like him, and he's a guy that obviously we just saw him, so we know a lot about him. And the rest of the group, Evan, with the Giants, watched him in the preseason. I watch all this stuff. So anyone who we feel like can help us get better, that we feel like has some developmental potential, we'll look into it. We don't make every move we could possibly make, but the ones that we feel like will help us, we try to make.
Well, how much film, when you do look at these guys before you add them to the roster, how much film, how long are you kind of taking to kind of watching these things? Are you having a film kind of cut up for you so you can see some things beforehand? I guess, how long is that process?
I watch a lot, before I make a determination on what I think a guy can or can't do. My process is a little different than I guess some other people, but I take a good amount of time, and once the name comes across, my desk, or we check the waiver wire on a daily basis. I watch a good amount of it, along with our next opponent. So I've got a routine on how I'm doing this. So we're not going to delve into my exact routine right now, but yeah, I do spend some time.
Says that Chris or someone else in the front office will say, "Hey, we're looking at this guy. Tell me what you think," and then you get back to Chris or someone else in player on that side of the building.
That's fluid. I think there's a lot of communication from that standpoint, but I've looked at the wire every day for the last 15 years, so it's just kind of part of my routine, my process. So I know I look at least all the transactions that happen on a daily basis. So and Chris and the personnel staff does the same thing, and I just think that's part of working in this league.
When you look at that wire, what percentage of the players do you think that you know just based off of looking, knowing, and watching football?
When I was, I know a lot of them. I would say when I was in personnel, I knew pretty much all of them. When you get into coaching, you know the guys you've played, and most of the league. But there's some teams that you haven't seen, that new players that have been acquired. You don't see all the draft picks, so maybe not as much as when you're coaching, but this is a different role. So I have more. I spend more time on obviously the draft last year. I knew a chunk of those players, and the rookies from that last year's that are in the league now. I know the lion's share of those guys, and I would say over the next couple of years I'll know most everyone. Hopefully, I'll know everyone.
One of those new guys you brought in. Where do you see him making the most immediate impact?
Well,
He's got return value, kickoffs and punts. He's got some. He's fast. He's big. And he's had some production offensively as well. So, again, anybody who comes in here, the opportunity they receive are going to be up to them and how they perform in practice. And Trevor had a nice practice yesterday, and we'll see how it goes today. And that's the case for everyone. I think you guys have heard me say that really every day that I'm up here.
Going back to the waiver wire, combing it for gems, what's one or two guys who you're really proud of, who you spotted on the waiver wire and you really feel good about? Hey, this guy really panned out.
Well, I can name a couple guys, but it's not a one-man show. I think that's entire staff. We have a really good personnel staff here. They do a good job of uncovering guys, and I'm not going to sit here and say I'm 100% on draft picks or free agents, and no one is, but having that background I think helps me a lot. And but again, it's a team collective effort. It wasn't me who found any specific player, but I think that part of it is about having strong opinions on players and being able to forecast and predict what guys are going to do. And I guess I feel confident in that area, as well as I feel confident in our staff to get that part of it right.
I've heard opposing coaches say that you guys play and coach with house money, or that you guys are playing with nothing to lose. What do you think about that aspect of it, and is that something that you enjoy or appreciate? That about you and your team?
We're aggressive. We're going to play to win. And if we feel like there's a place where we can gain an advantage, we're going to try to do that. But I think every team does that. As far as playing with house money, I mean, I guess you could say that, but we're out. We're going to play to win. We're going to play to win. If there's something that we like, we feel like we can make a play on, we're going to try to do that. And we've got a group of guys in there who practice hard, they compete. But you don't win games with trick plays. In this league, that's not how it works. So you got to be able to execute and on play-to-play basis and play consistently, and we need to do that.
How would you assess Michael Dieter's growth?
Dieter, I think he's had a solid rookie year, and he's continuing to develop and get better on a day-to-day basis. He's had some ups and downs, and he just needs to continue to trust the process and play with consistency and play with the same effort and grit and toughness on a play-to-play basis. So I think he's tried to do that, and we're going to stay on him to do that. That's for sure.
Thank you.